Oh, hello. Good evening, all. Good evening, all. Welcome. Welcome to a Sunday night stream. I know it's been a while since I've streamed. A while. Honestly, I've just missed it, quite frankly. Which is a shame because a lot of stuff has been happening. As you've seen today from my video. First of all, Trump looks like he's still serious with his Greenland comments and wanting to either A, purchase Greenland, but of course, as Denmark has continuously said, Greenland is not for sale. This leaves him now with this other option where, well, if he wants to, I will now pursue military action. And of course, his defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, basically will go, yes, sir. Yeah, that's a very bad timeline. Not only that, of course, we've still got his threats over Panama that are again still quite worrying. What does he do with that? We've also had now recently, although he seems to have changed now, but I doubt it. Apparently, there's now a lot of Trump's inside cabinet who want to get rid of Starmer and have openly said, or at least fantasized about crashing the UK's economy to get rid of him, to put Farage in control. UK, American ally. Let's crash their economy. Honestly, this is what the next 4 years are going to be like. This is what the next 4 years are going to be like. It's going to be an absolute nightmare of just same stuff again and again and again. And it feels like, I don't know. Like, does everyone else feel they've gone a lot faster? Like, does everyone feel they have gone like so much faster than previously in 2016? Like, I don't know. It feels like they've gone a lot faster. And I know it's already been said online, so I am cribbing someone else's post of this. But it does feel like that by Easter we'll be seeing Trump kicking kids into volcanoes. Like, that's how far and fast this feels like in just a week. It really does. But anyway, greetings to everyone in the chat. Cluthonic, good evening. Hello to you. Colin Thompson, hello to you. MHS, good evening to you. Dave W, good evening to you. Sarah Davis, good evening to you. Marcel84, good evening to you. Thomas Bell, good evening to you. Who else we got in chat? Craig, good evening to you. Planetary Citizen, hello to you. Yeah. Flaps, good evening to you. Because this time the Raptors know how to use the door handles. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Craig, we demand that you produce a pony of some form. Seven Fox, good evening to you as well. Dave Walker, good evening to you as well. Like I say, good evening to everyone else. Oh well, if you want ponies, part of the reason why I haven't gone down to the field very recently is just because it's just been so wet. Honestly, the path down there once you get through under the bridge is just absolute mud central. Since the farmers put the cattle in that field, they have just absolutely churned all the mud on that field. I was down there a couple of weeks ago seeing if it was still pretty suitable, but no. Like I say, ever since the snowfall, we've had a lot of rain, and the field is just so wet, so wet. It's just can't get down there at the moment, which is sad because I really do want to go on do those morning walks again. Like I say, I do enjoy really doing it. MZ, hey, saw you on last with Graham last week and immediately subbed. Excellent, that's what I like to see. Yeah, Planetisms, yeah, it's like that this time of year. Yeah, unfortunately it is. Unfortunately it is. There's very little I can do about the weather, but when you decide to do like a live show in the great outdoors, unfortunately, that's what you have to put up with sometimes. You have to deal with the fact, unfortunately, you can't do it, which is a shame sometimes. I should have gone immediately as soon as it had snowed. Then we'd have probably had like a snowy good morning walk. But I didn't because it was really, really deep down there. Yeah, you need snowshoes, mud shoes, probably. I don't know. I don't know if they do mud shoes. I should really look and check. Anyway. There was Greenland. Greenland was trending a couple of hours ago. It seems to have now that no, they're not anymore, which is okay. So, oh well, I was gonna do some content on that. Hang on, let's see. Um, oh yeah. Unfortunately, we've been proved right on something. It's really bad that we've been proved right on this. I hate being proved we were right on this. Uh, don't know if you've seen Trump's comments on Gaza. Hang on, let me find these. Hang on. Here, we'll go to the BBC. So you can see it. But yeah, Trump wants neighbors now to take in Palestinians to now clear out Gaza. Right before the US elections, we were making the case to a lot of people who were saying abandon the Democrat Party, don't vote for the Democrat Party. Bear in mind, not the largest contributor to why they lost, but we were making the case that you do not want Trump in, and that if you really cared about the plight of the Palestinians, the last person you would want in charge of the US would be Donald Trump. And this proves it. And yet I want to point out, people who were pro-Palestinian, really cared about the Palestinian cause, were making fun of people like me, saying, no, you just don't care about the people of Palestine. Well, Trump's in charge now, and he is making the situation 10 times worse, because it looks like, as we can say here, he's going to clean out Gaza. Clean out Gaza. I hate being proved right on this. I really do. Because it's really bad for the people of Gaza now. Really bad. So let's get to some of his comments. Where are they? So Trump made these comments while apparently aboard Air Force One. He said almost everything is apparently demolished and destroyed. People are dying there. So I'd rather get involved with some of the Arab nations and build housing at a different location where maybe they can live in peace for a change. Trump then did not give further details about the proposal, and of course, the subject was not referred to in now the White House's official readout of the call. Well, gee, I wonder why. This is Trump saying something so ridiculous, so insane. Even his own advisors at the White House know not to publish this. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't this what the Israelis wanted all along? Yep. And Trump is going to give it to them. He's literally going to deliver it to them on a silver platter. So someone from the Hamas political bureau said, our Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip have endured death and destruction for over 15 months without leaving their land. Therefore, they will not accept any offers or solutions, even if they appear to be in good intentions, under the title of reconstruction. Yeah, because they won't be allowed back in. Because guess what? They've done this before. Um, this is really bad. But it does go to show you what we were saying all along. Why are you encouraging people not to vote for the Democrats when Trump is going to be clearly the worst option? And I really think he's going to deliver it to them on a silver platter. I wonder what Owen Jones has to say since he helped Trumple thin skin into power. Um, Owen Jones will do what Owen Jones does always. Like I say, he's only happy when his side are losing because then he gets to, well, he gets to be quite happy about it, unfortunately, which is sad. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's already written something. Let's check. At least people are already responding to it. Apparently, he's already calling out. Apparently, Egypt and Jordan have said about that. Oh yeah, this is the other one. But we'll get into this in a bit as well. But yeah, this is bad. This is bad. And they're already, bear in mind, they're already blocking people from returning. People that have left the Gaza Strip, they're already blocking them from returning. Which is, bear in mind, already a violation of the ceasefire that they agreed. Because we said this before, it's not just about a ceasefire, it's how do you get a lasting ceasefire, what happens with the peace proposal that comes afterwards, and how do you secure a lasting peace. Meanwhile, all we've had is people care about getting a ceasefire and then not care about anything else. But yeah, going to be a lot of leftist channels who've been talking about Palestine for a long time suddenly forget about Palestine very soon. Because if anything, I've seen and I've said it before, a lot of people on the left have magpie-like attention spans. They focus on one topic and then that's all they focus on, and then they run away to something else. And it's sad. It's really sad, but that's just unfortunately how it is. But onto onto some brighter news. Have you seen the election results for Belarus? Have you seen the election results for Belarus? Because, oh my word. Oh my words. Look at that. Exit poll for Belarus. Lukashenko has won over 87.6% of the votes. Wow. Remember, guys, Belarus, totally not a dictatorship. I have to wonder, I really have to wonder if there's going to be a pushback against this. I really have to wonder if they're going to have some pushback. Yeah. Yeah, he's slipping. Yeah, I know. It used to be 90%. What happened, Lyshenko? You lost 3% of your vote. What happened? Oh. I wouldn't be surprised if this backfires as well. So he's on his track now to win his 7th 5-year term as the Belarusian president. Yep. The election could obviously not be free and fair, fair because independent media are, of course, banned in Belarus, and all leading opposition figures have either been jailed or forced to flee abroad. So, yeah, just a perfectly normal election in Belarus. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here, folks. Oh. Yeah, all of Lyshenko's political opponents are either in prison, some are held incommunicado, or are in exile along with other tens of thousands of Belarusians who have fled since 2020. All our opponents and enemies should understand. Do not hope. We will never repeat what we had in 2020, Lyshenko told a stadium in Minsk during a carefully choreographed ceremony on Friday. And of course, back in 2020, that was where you had probably the closest time they were almost overthrown. But of course, Putin came to his rescue. But here's the thing, as I've said it a number of times, in all these countries where Putin used to support all these dictators like Lyshenko, if something happens in one of those countries, Putin's got nothing to send. He has nothing to send. This is why I'm keeping a very close eye what goes on in the Caucasus, because they've bubbled up a couple of times. But if Chechnya kicks off again, if Kadyrov pops his clogs or gets assassinated, Chechnya could very well kick off. And remember, this time there's nothing to stop Putin coming to help in Chechnya this time. Same for Georgia. Even though Putin really wants like Georgia to all that election stuff to come through, if these Georgia protests keep on, gathering steam, keep on saying, "Hey, you need to do this," or else, are going to be, we are very annoyed, and there's a revolution, Putin ain't coming to his aid. He's got nothing to send because it's all in Ukraine. I will say this now: if you are the Belarusian people, now is your best chance. Now is your best chance at freedom. And I know that's a very risky calculation for a lot of people to make that choice. Of course, I'm not ignorant of that, but all I'm saying now is your best chance. Now is your best chance ever, because Putin ain't coming to help Lyshenko this time. He can't afford to send any troops because they're all in Ukraine. So we'll see if something happens like 2020 again. Who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe this time it will succeed, but we'll see. So yeah, of course. this didn't happen. I really do hope, you know, they kick off this time, because I'll tell you what, he's gone. He's gone. They can't say anything. I hope they kick off. I really do. I really hope they kick off this time. Because this time they've got nothing. Russia's got nothing to send to help him. Oh, this is all I wanted to cover as well. The Greenland comments. Yeah, Donald Trump says residents of Greenland want to be part of the US. Yeah, totally want to be part of the US. This coming off the phone call. I did a video about this. Yeah, the horrendous phone call that apparently put Denmark into an absolute panic. The civil service was actually in panic mode on this. And I have to say, with my Denmarkians, my fellow Danes, yeah, I'm with you on that. We've just had people in the Trump administration threaten to crash our economy so they can get rid of Keir Starmer. I'm with you on that panic. I am with you 100% on that panic train. Because oh boy, that is worrying. Very worrying indeed. Residents of Greenland have the US as like either a fifth option on that list after Iceland, Canada, Ireland, and the UK, I'd guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how serious he's about this, because Denmark's not going to sell to him. And then what? They've called his bluff. You're going to use military force then? That's what comes next. If not, then he backs down on this, and then Trump looks weak. Although he might move on to something else instead. But it's what does he move on to next? Does he move on to like the Panama Canal? Does he go after maybe trying to end the war in Ukraine? Oh yeah, an update on that actually, by the way. I think because Trump obviously failed to end the war in 24 hours, if you've been listening to some of the stuff Trump has said, the only policy he can now follow is the Biden policy, which is to give more arms and ammunition and money and monetary support to Ukraine. So, yeah, that is literally the only option he has. You've got to double down on funding and support for Ukraine. Which again, I was worried he wouldn't. But if you listen to a lot of the stuff he's saying, that's his only option, unless he again wants to get military involved in Ukraine. Donald Trump, honestly, looks like he's going to go to war with someone. Because this is where all these things are going. He either A, is absolutely bluffing, and then all these countries call his bluff, which makes him look absolutely weak, or he actually follows through on one of these threats. But the question is, who does he follow through on, and on what? Does he follow through on Greenland? Does he follow through on the Panama Canal? Does he follow through on Canada? Making that the 51st state. Or does he go for a play to end the war in Ukraine and play hardball with Putin? So none of these directions he's going in are good. None of these directions going with good, because Trump, as we've always said, goes for the most extreme position. Like, he goes for the most extreme position where in reality he wants this. And then when you've negotiated Trump down from like that extreme position, you've given pretty much Trump what he wants. The problem becomes when someone goes, no. And that's the position we're now in. People are calling his going to start calling his bluff soon. Then what does he do? And that's where we need to start being very worried. That is when we really need to start being worried. Because Trump is on a highway to a conflict with someone. Just depends how big Trump wants to make these conflicts, or which conflict he goes for. But yeah, totally not worrying at all. Anyway, let's get into some of these, what he said about here. So Donald Trump has said that he believes that the US will take control of Greenland. After, of course, details emerged of a, quote, horrendous phone call, and oh boy, it was a horrendous phone call, in which he made economic now threats to Denmark, which has said that the territory is not for sale. Speaking aboard Air Force One on Saturday, Trump said, I think we're going to have it. He claimed that the Arctic Islanders' 57,000 residents want to be with us. I don't think they do. I don't think they do. The people of Greenland are pretty much firmly democratic socialists, like to the bone. They have free healthcare. They have a ton of benefits and workers' rights and a ton of stuff that if they were to join with America, they would suddenly lose. Not only that, will they become a full state? Will they be granted full statehood? Will they actually get, senators, congressmen? Will they actually count? Because if I were Denmark and I wanted to call Donald Trump's bluff, I'd be turning around and saying this. Okay, Mr. Trump, you want to buy Denmark? Well, you want to buy Greenland, not Denmark. You want to buy Greenland? You can buy it on one condition. That Greenland becomes a full state. That it becomes a proper state. That it actually gains another star on the American flag. Because I'll tell you now, that kills the deal. That kills the deal completely. Because that would mean that the very, very, very tight, I can't remember if it's the House or the Senate. You'll have to forgive me because, again, not that too familiar. But the Senate is so close. It is literally like it is literally like one or two senators that tip the scales in votes in the Senate. If you add Greenland, that's two senators. And those two senators, they're probably going to be Democrats. That means the Senate will flip permanently in favor of the Democrats. And not only that, but those two Democratic senators are going to be really, really progressive. Trust me. They're going to make AOC look like a Republican. Like, that's how progressive they are going to be in American politics. They're going to make someone like AOC look like she was a Republican. Like, just that's how far they are compared to politically the rest of America. But if I were Denmark, I would say that we ain't handing it over to you until you become a full state. They get full representation in the Senate. They get senators. They get congressmen. You name it. And guess what? The Republicans will kill that dead. Trump ain't getting his hands on Greenland that way. Ain't gonna happen. But you are right, Patrick. Greenlanders again would apparently prefer independence, becoming American. If I were a Greenlander, I wanted independence for Greenland, I would not be going for it while Donald Trump's in the White House. Because, oh boy, if you become independent, you can't join NATO because America will stop you joining. You probably ain't going to join the EU anytime soon, so you ain't got any European protection on that. You leave a ton, I mean a ton of safety nets. You leave a ton of safety nets that you have being part of Denmark. And hey, you may want independence, but right now, for the next couple of years, you better hope you roll a 6, and you better hope you roll consecutive 6s while Trump's in the White House. Otherwise, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. Yeah, we've just covered this, GB. Yeah. I said this in the run-up to the election, why are these people advocating not to vote for Democrats? Again, it wasn't the reason why Kamala Harris lost. There was a ton of reasons going into it why they lost. Gaza wasn't the issue that made Kamala lose the election. That we kept on saying it to people who would laugh at people like me when I said, no, you should absolutely be voting for Kamala because you do not want Trump in the White House dealing with this situation. Do not want him dealing with this situation at all. And I think he's going to hand Gaza to the Israelis on a silver platter. I think he's going to hand it straight over to them. And this is something where I do not want to be proved right on. I really do not want to be proved right because, fortunately, I've already been proved right on the fact that, and we were saying, God, no, go vote Biden. Please go vote for Biden. It wouldn't have changed anything. Or not Biden. Go vote for Kamala. It wouldn't have changed anything because, again, Gaza was not the defining issue of why she lost. But, we were proved right when we said, you do not want Donald Trump in the White House dealing with the situation. You do not want them at all. Yeah, Greenland should have to join Canada. Canada might actually be the better option for them. Canada would actually be the better option for them on that one. That is very true, Patrick. Craig, it caused it didn't help that it obviously divided focus. Yeah, that's true. Though having to fight the left on, of course, we're massively better, but we are massively better enough. While fighting the election, of course, didn't help. Yeah, very true. Again, not the main reason why she lost the election, but you are right. It did provide a lot of distractions. I will say that is true. Did provide a lot of distractions. Hoping Starmer will see sense about Trump. I think he will. I have been saying this right since the election. The more Trump acts in the way that he has been, the more we get pushed. The more we get pushed into the EU. Like, we are going to get pushed into the EU. The more he acts like this, the more he acts like a bull in the China shop. Even Keir Starmer's going to be like, yeah, I think we'll go elsewhere. Because have you seen now the EU has offered PEM, the Pan Mediterranean agreement? That would be good. Like I say, it's not a customs union. It's not a single market. but it is a trade and cooperation agreement type deal. It doesn't get rid of trade barriers. It would lower them. It would lower them. A lot of trade barriers, doesn't get rid of them, but it would be a start. And when you've got the Institute of Directors, a very influential like business think tank, saying, please put us in that, please put us in that, then yeah, you know they are going to get a lot of pressure from UK businesses saying, you know, we want in that. Like, we want in. But you are right. Yeah, Patrick. Yeah, it starts with the Pan-Mediterranean Agreement. Exactly. Starts very, very easily. And like I say, what have I been saying all this time? Yeah. What have I been saying all this time? You know, time will prove me right, and it has really proved me right more and more. Oh. So anyway, let's continue on this. So anyway, he said, I do believe, of course, Greenland will get it because it really has to do, of course, with freedom of the world, he said. It has nothing to do with the United States other than we're the one that can provide the freedom. Yeah. But joining America mean the people of Greenland would lose a lot of freedoms that they have right now. His latest comments, of course, follow the horrendous phone call with the Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen with Trump, which was said to be aggressive and confrontational in its attempt to take over the island. You know what I would do if I were Denmark? You know what I would do if I were Denmark? I'd release the audio. Like, if Denmark has a recording of that call, I'd release it. God, I hope they release that call, because I tell you what, that would be an interesting 45 minutes listen to. Ooh. That would be an interesting 45 minutes listen to. I tell you that now. Yeah, please Denmark, release the call. Hashtag release the call. I hope they. Oh, pardon me. I really hope they do. Because I bet you what, that will be a fun 45 minutes. Some senior now European officials have told the Financial Times that the call had gone very badly. It was horrendous, said one of the sources. It was a cold shower, another told the paper. Before, it was hard to take seriously, but I do think that it is serious and potentially very dangerous. And bear in mind, Denmark went into an absolute panic on this. And I am there with you. I am there with you on that. We've just found out recently there's people, Trump's top advisors, have fantasized about crashing the UK economy to get rid of Starmer. So, hey, my fellow Danes, I'm with you on the panic train about this. I am with you on this. Trump was, of course, reported now to have threatened Denmark, a NATO ally, with targeted tariffs, essentially taxes on Danish exports to the US. The Danish Prime Minister office said it did not recognize the interpretation of any of the conversations given by anonymous sources. Basically, they're trying to downplay it. I think they are really trying to downplay it on this. Really trying to downplay it on this. However, the chair of the Danish Parliamentary Defense Committee said that Denmark would never hand over its 57,000 of its citizens to become Americans against their will. We have understood that the US is a powerful country, but we are not. That it is up to the US how far they will go. But come what may, we are still going to say no. So what does Trump do now? Remember what I said about because Trump makes the most extreme position. What happens when a country turns around and says no, like Denmark is saying? What's he gonna do? Denmark said no, but he wants Greenland. They're not gonna sell. What does he do? Oh, that's right. He's threatened military force. And it's not just here, it's the Panama Canal situation. Mexico, if you look at the executive orders that got signed, some of those executive orders allow the president to authorize military strikes in Mexico. Oh, I bet Mexico's going to be happy about that if that happens. Patrick, what happens if Denmark activates Article 5 of the NATO treaty? Looks like we're going to war. Looks like we're going to war. Looks like, hey, it's looks like it's Plan Red, baby. But at least in like the 1930s, the British Navy were predicted to beat the Atlantic fleets. I don't know what any of the prognoses have been since then. But yeah, that could be it's war. It's war. And that is what Donald Trump's doing, because he pursues these extremist positions, because he's said this. Denmark has said, we ain't selling. Now leaves you with your only other option, which is military force. And bear in mind, I think the guy who's pushing for independence, the Mart Eagle, that's the Mute Eagle. He's the Greenland Prime Minister who wants independence from Denmark, and said the territory is not for sale, but it is at least open now to close ties with the US, such as mining. Here's the thing, my friend: if you go independent, I've said this before, you leave so many treaties, so much protection. If you push for independence from Denmark while Donald Trump is Prime Minister, Donald Trump would move right in. Donald Trump would move right in on you. Like I say, Greenlanders, you may want independence, but if you do it while Trump is in the White House, good luck. That's all I gotta say. Good luck. Yeah, Mexico told him to bugger off as well. Yep. But the thing is, it's only going to take, like, I don't know, let's say I don't know what their drug people are called. I can't remember what they're called now. Not the cartels. That's Mexico. America has like a specific law enforcement agency around drugs. Can't remember what they're called now. Can't remember on that. Does Trump need Congress to approve military action? No. No, that technically he has. Technically he has to ask, but there's enough precedent. There's enough precedent where Trump can take military action. That's it. The DEA. Yeah, all the DEA has to say is, there's this cartel facility. That's where all the fentanyl is being kept before it's been taken into America. It's in Mexico territory. You've designated these cartels as terrorists anyway. Can we ask the US Air Force to strike this target, please? That's all it would take. Do you think Trump would not sign off on that? Do you think Pete Hegseth would not sign off on that? And then how does Mexico react? You know, how does Mexico react to that? I don't think it'll be war, but it would sour relations, massively sour relations with America. But if they keep on doing it, then Mexico may eventually even shoot down an aircraft. Um, you know, maybe kill a U.S. serviceman. You know, by doing that. Then what does Trump do? All because he takes these extremist positions. He leaves himself with very little room for maneuvering, and every single option is literally war, conflict, war, conflict. It's incredibly dangerous. It is incredibly dangerous to see these types of actions being done by a president who has no understanding of international orders, how all this stuff works, thinks that countries are just going to bow down and do what he says. But again, what if they say no? They say Greenland said no. Yeah. What if a cartel gets hold of US soldier and films them being held hostage? Well, this is the possibility of what can happen. Let's say they strike one of these cartels. These cartels take revenge. Like, they take revenge. They do not sit back idly. They do not sit back idly and do nothing. If this happened, they would take revenge. And it would just be another escalation. And it would just so yeah, it's worrying. It is so worrying because he's just leaving himself with so little room to maneuver. So little room to maneuver on some of this stuff. Yeah, no movement on the US curbing gun sales across the Mexican border. Yeah. John Deere are ignoring Trump, investing in Mexico despite Trump. Yeah. I did see as well today, apparently, Canadian and Mexican steelworks have stopped any future orders to America because they think that tariffs are imminent. So they've just gone, no more future orders to America. We ain't taking any. They are expecting a trade war. Like like these two steel companies in Canada and Mexico, they do not just stop selling steel to the US on a whim. Like, they think tariffs are inbound. They think tariffs are inbound. So it is very likely. I think the last time we heard, I think meant to be like beginning of February. I thought these tariffs would come in immediately on day one. Now Trump has apparently said February. From what we saw from what we saw this week. So we'll probably find out in like 2 or 3 weeks' time who who's gonna get tariffed. It's the world's new favorite game show. Spin the tariff wheel. Oh, look. You get a tariff, you get a tariff, and you get a tariff. Oh. Sometime I think we need world presidents at the UN. That would slap down other nations acting like Trump. But the problem is that everyone has to follow the rules of the UN. There has to be an international order, and Trump is not willing to follow the international order, which is the big problem of these institutions at the UN. It's why the Security Council has become so ineffectual, because China and Russia just veto each other, or veto protect each other, and they've got away with all kinds of stuff, and they've allowed their allies to get rid of all kinds of stuff. There's so much does stuff needs doing at the UN, but again, getting a UN reform is going to be incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult. That's for sure. Um, So, yeah, you see this going back to 1917. The US President Woodrow Wilson gave the Copenhagen assurances that the territory will be forever Danish. Tom Hoyam, Denmark's representative to Greenland between 1982 and 1987, also said that if Denmark were to sell Greenland, it would have to give the UK first refusal under the 1917 agreement. So, hey, you know the Chagos Islands deal? You know, the Chagos Islands deal that Trump's just vetoed? This would be where Starmer could just turn around and just go, hey, Trump, you know that Chagos Islands deal you just vetoed? Well, guess what? Veto. Yeah, talk about revenge. Talk about revenge on that, that's for sure. Hang on. There we go. Anyway, California's now in the middle of its citrus picking season. Guess what? Migrant labor isn't turning up for work. Yeah. Trump has torpedoed. He has torpedoed in the farming industry. He has torpedoed. There's been a ton of stories about it recently, because ICE are just picking people up left, right, and center, just going boom, boom, boom. They recently picked up a US veteran. They went to like a seafood supermarket, and they literally just pulled 3 people at random, and one of them happened to be a US veteran. Like, he was this close to being deported. And he's just like, what's honestly, they are going to do so much damage. So much damage on this. Could the USA pull out of the UN, seeing as he pulled out of the WHO? No, he would need congressional approval on that. I think that is another NATO thing he would need, but I think he would need approval, and he would never get that, because the US would give up a lot of soft power, and Republicans would not stand for that. Yeah, they may not like the UN, but they understand how much power it actually gives them. They would not stand for that. They would not stand for that at all. Could end up, of course, giving Trump that farming deal, getting him effectively nothing. They can't even export if they are struggling to support the domestic market. Again, that's true. That's true. Yeah, exactly, Craig. Formal treaty with Senate ratification. They'd never okay undoing that. Exactly. Exactly. They would never okay that. The British government, of course, at the time demanded that it should have the first right to buy Greenland because of the island's proximity to Canada, then, of course, a British dominion. So, looks like we would get first refusal, and then Canada might get refusal. Earlier this month, of course, Trump did rule out using economic. Oh, earlier this month, sorry, Trump refused to rule out using economic or even military coercion to take Greenland and the Panama Canal, which he also wants under US control. Trump said on Air Force One that Canada should become a US state, so he's repeated that view again. I view it as honestly a country that should be a state, he told reporters. Then they'll get much better treatment and much better care and much lower taxes, and they'll be much more secure. So he's still repeating that Canada one as well. I don't know if your next prime minister is going to be okay with that. Yeah, good luck. Good luck dealing with that. Good luck dealing with that because, like I say, Trudeau obviously has quit. I think they've got to look for a leader now. I think they're in the middle of doing that over in Canada. But once he's in, there's probably going to be an election, probably in the next couple of months. Maybe March, April, we'll see Canada head to the polls. A bit concerned if when our vital, of course, undersea cables get mysteriously snipped in the next. Oh, pardon me, get snipped in the next few months. Oh yeah. Russia has been been looking at that. Russia has been very, very much looking at that. Did you hear that a Secret Service agent went to a school in Chicago looking for an 11-year-old girl who made an anti-Trump video online? No, didn't hear that at all, but it doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me because, like I say, Republicans, massive hypocrites. Oh, we don't like it when the government goes after, people who have committed crimes, but we're going to go after everyone who may or may not have committed a crime. Oh, so yeah, that's the yeah, that's Trump. At least we're not going to be short of content for the next couple of years. At least we're not going to be short of content. That's for sure for the next couple of years. Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. I've heard February. I think it's going to be the beginning of February. That's for sure. I think we're going to see very soon in the next couple of weeks what those tariffs are. I do agree with that, Patrick. Some ghost ships might mysteriously go disappear in the Atlantic. They might. They will also freak out if the Democrats start contemplating hostage taking on federal aid to haul the U.S. Gulf Coast states out of the Dark Ages. I mean, Trump's already playing hostage to the California wildfire stuff. I don't think he's let that aid through yet. He's apparently has he actually gone through with disbanding FEMA? Because I'd heard that, but I don't know if he'd actually gone through with it. Which, if you are disbanding FEMA, that is like your emergency response team gone, and all like your disaster planning and things like that. That's gone. I don't know if he got rid of them or not. FEMA's still there. Good. At least for the time being, it's still there, Craig. At least for the time being, right? That I don't know how long that'll last. I don't know how long FEMA will last, honestly. You know, the issue is you want each state now to handle their own disasters, which is great for the most Democrat states. Yeah, because the Democrat states are the most healthiest. It's the Republican states that pretty much rely on federal aid. They tend to be now contributors to the highest budget, where the red states need the aid. Yep. Yeah, I mean it's it said it before. If I was the governor of California, I would say, well, if you're going to do this, then maybe we look at Cal exit. Maybe California leaves the union, which would upset a big load of apple carts. That will be the ultimate threat against Trump. Yeah. If you don't live with this aid, then we will start a conversation. Thinking about California independence. Maybe California should rejoin Mexico. Right? After all, it was Mexico before Spain carved it up. They also now tend to be low at risk from national disasters. The last time Chicago had a disaster, it was when the Cubs won. Just hope the Cubs don't win again. California, Oregon, Washington become the new California province of Canada. Yeah. Hey, the new California Republic, right? Get ready for the rise of the two bears. Get ready for the rise of the two bears, right? Oh yes. Apparently, Trump and Starmer are apparently going to have their own 45-minute phone call soon. Oh, I dread. I dread to think. I dread to think. What that's going to be like. I dread to think what that's going to be like. It looks like we'll have our own horrible phone call soon. I think that's it so far at the moment. I think that's all we've got news at the moment. And yes, I know about Labour threatening to take away people's driving licenses. That's such a dumb move. That's such a dumb move. But I've said this before. No government is perfect. No government is perfect. That's so dumb. Threatening to take away people's driving licenses. Oh, but there you go. Can't be 100% perfect. And I never said they were going to be 100% perfect. So that's so dumb. Yeah. If the next national disaster hits Florida, you can imagine if if the Trump Mar-a-Lago is damaged beyond repair, if FEMA is disbanded. God, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic to see. Oh, that would have been so much fun to see. Oh, could you have imagined John Prescott as the diplomatic liaison to Washington instead of Peter Mandelson? That would be insane. Did you see the revelations about the Trump phone calls with past Tory PMs? Basically, he couldn't even keep a simple agenda and just randomly blurted stuff. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, the hilarity inducing phone calls. In fact, let's see if we can find that, because that would be worth just going over. I wonder if we can find that. Just trying to find that now. Can't find it. Because it wasn't that too long ago. Hang on. All on PMs. Here we are. Yep. Trump's calls with now British leaders reportedly left staff crying from laughter. Oh dear. We've got to have a look at this, right? We've got to do this, right? We can't not look at this. We can't not look at this, can we? So here we go. So President Donald Trump's phone calls, conversations now with two British prime ministers who served during his first term were now apparently so madcapped they left staff at number 10 Downing Street in tears. According to now reports in Politico, any conversation between them and the presidents and the occupants of number 10 from 27 to 2021 of being Theresa May or Boris Johnson were appointment listening for civil servants and their other aides in the PM's orbit, with staff making a point to gather in a secure room for the prime or even the prime minister's private study to hear them speak with the American leader. One former Downing Street source described these conversations as extraordinary and brilliant. The latter meant, of course, more sarcastically, and said that those who were present were now there with tears of laughter because they were so hilarious. Oh, release the phone call. Please, please release the phone calls. I want to hear these. I want to hear these. I want to hear these calls. I really want to hear them. Another former British government official who worked in number 10 said that any planned agenda for arranged calls between the two leaders would quite quickly fall by the wayside because Trump would simply change the subject to whatever was on his mind. Trump would go off on wide-ranging, long-winded tangents on a variety of subjects close to his heart, but not especially germane to Anglo-American special relationship, including his hatred of wind turbines, his Scottish Gulf property, or even matters that the prime ministers could simply just not discuss because they were subject of court proceedings. Oh my. Oh my. They were never what you wanted them to be about broadly. If you were calling about trade or Israel or something, it would always go off beam, said a government official. You added that the American president would go so as far to ask about the health of Queen Elizabeth II, the reigning monarch at the time. Oh. So, of course, Trump got admitted. Well, Trump let Johnson come to the inauguration. We know he was there. But apparently they didn't let May come because, according to the Trump sources, a rift was due to May's very cautious attitudes to the UK's exit from the European Union, plus Trump's now decidedly retrograde attitude towards women in general. Well, of course. Yeah. Release the phone calls, please. I want to hear, like, I want to hear those phone calls. Like, is it so bad to want to hear those phone calls? If they were that hilarious, please, please, someone in Downing Street, please release like what you can of those phone calls. Like, even like a small snippet. Like, I want to hear Trump go off on these ramblings. Again, same for Denmark. Release the phone call. Release the phone call. Oh, absolutely opposite idea to that, Patrick. Starmer should absolutely invite Trump because all he has to do is roll out King Charles and William, right? If you haven't heard, they are being deployed and being on standby to go and visit America at a moment's notice because Trump has such reverence for them. Trump loves the UK royal family. Like, they're our secret weapon against Trump. Like, you know, Charles and Harry, well, Charles and Will, shall we say, may not like Trump, but by God, they're our secret weapon against Trump. Like, they're our secret weapon against Trump. Yeah, they really are. Like, his reverence for the royal family is like possibly one of the only really good cards we could play. Like, it really is. So it's our only defense against Trump. We roll out the royal family. Get over there, Will, right now. It's the only thing we've got. Only thing we've got that could defend against them. Yeah. Our royal family's Trump's kryptonite. Yeah, exactly. We laugh, but they're our only trump card. That they are really our only trump card on this. But yes, I can see Evan Okar leaving. Goodbye. See you. But yes, unfortunately, that brings our stream to an end as well. I'm afraid. Like I say, I've got an early morning start myself. Tis a school night, as they say. So got to abide by, some school night rules. But as always, thank you everyone for joining me this evening. Please do remember to click the like and share button on your way out. If you are new, hit the subscribe button. We're covering all kinds of stuff. We've got some British content coming up in the not too distant future, including Kimi Badnock's terrible poll rating with her fellow Conservatives coming out tomorrow, which does predict a lot of trouble. So if you want to find out more about that, watch out that video tomorrow. So, oh no. No, I'm not a teacher. I am not a teacher. I would not have the patience to teach kids. No, it's a school night is actually a British saying. It's a school night means we need an early night. So, as always, thank you so much for coming along and watching. Thank you so much for the all you guys chatting out here. It's been absolutely fantastic once again to see you again. Don't worry, I do plan to do more live streams in the future and try and get back in the habit of live streaming as well. But thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Thank you very much, everyone. Either you've been engaged in the chat or whether you've just been, sat watching, maybe painting or something like that. I don't know. But, crack on. You're doing a fantastic job. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you all next time very soon. As always, don't have nightmares. Although that's the Crime Watch. Yeah, I can't use that. I can't have that as my sign off. So, as always, we'll see you all next time. Anyway, as always, we'll see you all very soon.